Hi guys. Hi guys. Hi. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Thank you all for being here and for joining the live. Go ahead and start liking and start sharing this live because this is going to be a great live today. Today is Successful Women in Business Saturday, and I am so excited and I am so honored to have Miss Angel Radcliffe here with us today. Y'all don't even know how excited I am. And I want to thank you guys for showing up. I never do lives on my main page, but I was speaking with Angel yesterday and she said you need to broaden your exposure. So she's a business coach and a business strategist. So when she tells you something to do, you do it immediately because she knows what she's talking about. Okay, ladies and gentlemen today. So Angel is, like I said, she's a financial educator. She's a business strategist. She's been in Huffington Post. Come on, y'all, Huffington Post. She's been on Black Enterprise. Okay. She have over 20,000 followers. I mean, this woman is business. And I mean real business. So I'm honored and I am grateful to have her come on to Successful Women in Business Saturdays here. Hi, Angel.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me this evening. I'm so excited to have this conversation. And I'm over here just giggling because of us trying to get ready for this live, but I'm so excited. So,
Yes. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. So can you tell us about yourself? Can you tell us about your education? Because I know you have an MBA in finance. Come on, y'all. She had an MBA in finance. Can you tell us about yourself?
sure. So, Angel Radcliffe, I'm sure many people who are probably following both of us are very familiar. Grew up in Bloomington, Illinois. I'm originally from Chicago, but I spent most of my life in Bloomington. So, going to high school and then college, so Bloomington High School, and then on to Illinois State. I did work on my graduate degree within two different schools, so within Strayer University and DePaul University. And I moved to Dallas in 2007. So much of my professional network and professional life has been built up in Dallas, Texas. Throughout those last 15 years, it's been such a journey. I started my career in finance. I spent 7 years in finance. Of course, I had an MBA in finance and I was like, oh, I'm going to be a CPA. I'm going to be this controller and over accounting. And when I started to get to more mid-level in my career, I figured out that was not what I wanted to do. And so I definitely had a struggle there because I had already paid for, or not necessarily paid for, but achieved the MBA. And I was going through a career crisis of, okay, I have this MBA in finance. I no longer want to work in finance. What am I going to do with myself? And along the way, I've always been entrepreneurial. My mom has been an entrepreneur for over 20 years, and she's always instilled those principles of like working for yourself, having a business. So even in starting in college, I had little side hustles. I was preparing taxes and I was helping people fix their credit. And it was never something that was thought of to really turn into a business per se. And so when I moved to Dallas, got a little bit into real estate. So I was doing a multiple amount of things like on the side, like all these side hustles. And I would say when I came to the point of like realizing I didn't want to work in finance anymore in the corporate world, I was trying to figure out what do I do with that. And really transitioned into some other things within my business where I was really helping small businesses with their finances, because that was what I was doing in the corporate world. So that was the first thing that the skill that I said, okay, I can turn this into somewhat of a business and shift from there. So I did that for a few years, and it went from strictly the financial management piece to the business strategy side. Going down to a smaller level of first-time entrepreneurs, people who are in their first year to 5 year in business, who haven't developed a business plan, they haven't built their business credit, and really working on that particular side of how to not only increase their revenues, but manage their revenues. And along the way, there's always some humps and bumps, I like to say. But along the way, you know, the humps and bumps of finances. And I think everyone goes through that point in their life where you're trying to understand finances and you're trying to understand this world, this adulting, as everyone calls it now. And I remember I was in my 20s, and I remember talking to a coworker about my student loans and not being able to pay my student loans. And we were discussing salary, and we were discussing credit, and she was much older than me. So I was expecting to get advice from her. She was in her late 40s, and I was like 28 years old. And I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for her to pour into me. And I found out she knew nothing. She could not give me any advice. She did not have things together in her own life. And at that point, it sort of dawned on me of how many people did not understand like finances, how many people didn't understand like their personal budget, how many people didn't understand the importance of credit. And so I started to volunteer nonprofit organizations and teaching financial literacy, and it's become a passion of mine over the last 10 years or so. So it's been very interesting. Of course, I can talk all night about my journey, but that's definitely high level of some of the things that I've dabbled in.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a lot.
It is.
That is amazing. And so one of the things that I struggled with, and I know many other people struggle with, is creating a financial budget, and a financial budget for our personal life, our household, just a household budget. And then after that, we want to have savings. So how do we get started? We're just starting to create a financial budget because we have bills coming from everywhere. So how do we get started?
So of course, I can sit here and I can tell you, you know, stop spending and stop buying frivolous things, or get another job, get a side hustle. But I always think that it's more of a mindset shift before you can actually take the steps to get your finances in order. Because there are millionaires in this country. There are people who are six-figure earners who still live check to check. And it's surprising when you find out the amount of money people have access to and they don't know how to manage it. So it's not necessarily about having the money, it's about understanding how to manage it. It starts with that mindset shift. I like to use the term having a money mindset. So you have to have a money mindset and understanding what you want your money to do for you. Do you want to save your money? Do you want to invest your money? Do you want to pay your bills on time? Because sometimes we want to pay our bills on time, but we don't necessarily do it. Think about, and I can say this is true for myself, definitely when I was 21, 22 years old, I had the money, but maybe for me, being 20 years old, it was more important to go find an outfit for the club. So, and then think about those different stages in your life where you have things that are more important than paying a credit card bill or paying your light bill on time. There's people that have children, and some people may not have enough money to do all of the things that they need to do in a particular order to have things paid. So someone may prioritize their children's diapers over that cell phone bill. And so it's about it's a mindset shift where you have to really tell yourself you're going to do these things. You have to believe it. You have to affirm it. I'm very big on manifesting the things that you want, vision boards, telling yourself that you are going to have that emergency fund. You are going to save $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 for people who have never had a budget before or never had a savings. It starts with just $1. in the savings, right? You don't have to start out putting $1,000 in savings or 5,000. You make these small goals, and every time you meet your goal, then you increase that goal. So you may want to tell yourself, for someone who's living check to check, and that's a lot of people in this country. There's over 70% of people in this country who don't have $1,000 in their savings account for an emergency. So that's access to $1,000 cash, not going out there to put it on the credit card, not borrowing from a family or friend. I'm not talking about going to get a payday loan. I'm talking about your own money that's in your savings, not your 401k, because we should not be relying on our 401k for emergencies. We should rely on that emergency fund. So many people do not even have access to $1,000 if your car breaks down. Of course, in the Midwest, I know a lot of people are in the Midwest. So if there's a tornado, if you are a homeowner, to pay your deductible to get things in your home fixed, or even simple things as renter's insurance for those who are renters. Or here's a big thing: some people don't pay for like their car insurance because they can't afford it, right? So financial literacy is such a problem in this country, to where over the years I've pushed that I do believe it's a topic that should be taught starting in high school. So graduating and going into the real world, you understand what you're getting yourself into. So mindset, affirm, believe, achieve, manifest it, and then just do it. Make those small goals. Tell yourself, all right, I saved 500, so my next goal is 1,000. Okay, and then my next goal is 5,000. I remember my first savings goal. I wanted to save $10,000. And I wasn't sure how I was going to do it. I was like, okay, I remember vividly, I was 25, 26 years old. And I remember the student payments were coming in, so much other debt coming in. When I graduated from college, I had a lot of credit card debt. And I remember saying, I'm going to save $10,000, and I wanted to buy myself something nice. And in order to buy myself something nice, I said, I'm going to get this $10,000. Oh, I wanted a Louis Vuitton purse. That's what it was, right? So I said, when I save $10,000, then I'll go out there and I'll maybe buy myself a nice purse. Well, by the time I got to the $10,000 in my savings account, then I was like, I don't want to go and pay $2,000 for a bag. I'm going to keep saving my money. I'm going to keep saving my money. I'm like, why would I go and give them my money? Because I saw it was a goal that I achieved, and I was like super excited. So I said, okay, my next goal is $20,000. What do I have to do to save $20,000? And it was so tough to get to that next goal, where I was like, why is it seem like it's taking longer to add another $10,000 to this? And so fast forward to 2018. I'm missing bits and pieces, but I know we don't have all night, but I'll give a little bit of context. And right now, I know we're focusing on budgeting and goals. So I want to go back to 2014. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I remember 2014, 2015 being the worst years of my life. If you've never had a family member who has passed away or has been going through something like that, I pray for people who haven't had a chance to experience that, because it can create very tough times, and really can make people make very emotional decisions, no matter how financially sound you are or stable you are. And I remember those 2 years really being a tough time. And although I was very financial literate, I did very silly things with my money, and things that I do not advise people to do. But I remember having to pay my bills here in Dallas. Although I was very rarely here, I was always in Bloomington with my mom and trying to make sure she was going to her treatments. I remember working at the cancer center in Bloomington, sitting there on my laptop working while my mom's going through her chemotherapy, helping her pay bills. And so I was paying bills for places in 2 different cities, and I was burnt out. I was pulling money out of savings. When my savings ran out, I had to get money from the 401k. And I remember at the end of 2015, I was drained. I literally had $1,000 left. And I remember one of my friends came to visit me, and she said, Angel, and what also happened that year, I quit my job in 2015. An emotional decision during a tough time in my life. I quit my job, did not have another job lined up. And I said, I'm going to brand myself. I'm going to try to work on my business full time, which was probably not a smart decision to do while I was going through so much. But I think God that it has worked out. But I remember the end of the year, I didn't have any money, and my friends were asking what's going on. And I am a very, I'm one of the people who I'm very prideful. I don't ask for help. And so I never turn to anyone to ask for help. And I think one of my friends, she knew that something was wrong. So she said, "What's going on?" And we had a conversation. And I can definitely say 2016 was life-changing. So many amazing things happened for me and my business. And I went back to the corporate world in 2016 as a contractor, and then went back as a full-time employee in 2018. And I remember in 2018, I had a goal. I said, okay, if I can save $100,000, I'm leaving corporate for good. And the goal was giving me 3 years. So actually, this would be my third year, March of 2021. This will be 3 years since I've been back in corporate. And what's so amazing is that I met that goal of saving $100,000 in 18 months. And so by the end of 2019, I was looking at my finances and I said, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I can't believe I did this. I said, how did I do this? And so it goes back to that mindset shift of focusing on the things that you want, affirming the things that you want, and manifesting the things that you want. Because I kept telling myself that if I get this much money, and then so I got the money, and then I was like, well, thinking back to that first $10,000 I saved, where I said I was going to buy a Louis bag, right? And I didn't buy it. So when I saved the money, and I was like, well, hold on, why am I going to stop now? I'm doing such a great job of balancing corporate and balancing entrepreneurship. And I can give it a few more years. I think I can get to 250,000. And this is not including investments. This is cash. This is like my emergency fund. And I have so many people who are like, that's a large emergency fund. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I don't plan on working for the rest of my life. But yeah, shifting your mindset and those three things, once you do that, nothing can stop you.
Wow, that's awesome. So you were able to save $100,000 in 18 months.
Yes, it is so amazing. Like when I look back on it, and you can ask yourself the how, the why, but you have to be very disciplined. It takes so much discipline to have abundance, right? You have so much access to money and not go out and pay for frivolous things and buy designer bags. Now, I do believe in treating yourself every once in a while, but not making it a habit to spend $5,000 on a bag and $800 on a pair of red bottoms.
Right.
So definitely being dedicated to your goal and the things that you want in your life and how you foresee your lifestyle being. So if you want to retire early, if you want to save money to purchase that home, if you want to save money and pay for a cash car, put your kids through college, there's so many different goals that people can have. It's just taking those baby steps to make it happen.
Yes, and I think that's key, right, Angel, is being able to connect your why to your finances. So you said you just having a goal. So a lot of people don't have goals, but when you have a why, that discipline is going to come in, that consistency is going to come in, that dedication is going to come in, and the hard work is going to come in the sacrifice, right?
Right.
So just having a goal and having a why attached to it is how she was able to save 100,000, and she's going up to 250, y'all. Just for an emergency savings. That right there is amazing. It's amazing. So can you tell us more about your workbook that you have?
Sure. So, as I briefly mentioned, 2015, I left corporate America to focus on some of the goals I had. And one of those goals was branding myself. And that was such a huge thing at the time. I saw so many people doing it. And I had questions of like, how do you do this? How do you brand yourself? How do you make yourself this quote unquote household name, or an influencer, as many people call it? I think in other realms of corporate, it's called a thought leader. And I was wanting to do that. It was a goal I've always had, because I said, okay, when I have a family, I probably won't have time. And I know people who have families make time for things of this nature, or they've done things of that nature. But for me, it was something I wanted to do. And so I started to get more into social media and live streaming and discussing business and financial topics, and really surrounding myself with the right people. So people who could pour into me. So sometimes we're so busy pouring into other people, we don't realize we don't have people pouring into us. So it's all about who you're surrounding yourself with. Do they have the same mindset, the shift that you're going towards? Have they already accomplished the goals that you would like to accomplish? Because you can't necessarily rely on someone for advice who hasn't done what you're trying to do. And so I was putting myself in these different circles, and so many ladies were telling me that you need to have a book, you need to have a digital product, and I didn't know where to start. And I was like, well, what do I do? And it was more of 2015 is definitely the year of I like to call it the birthing year. I birthed so many things. So not only relationships, but financial workbook. So the book is called Ballin' on a Budget. So I think about creating a brand. I thought, I was like, okay, well, what would my brand be? I don't know what my brand would be. And I used to do these Wednesday live streams called Ballin' on a Budget, and I would give out financial tips. And I said, I think that will be a part of my brand. And then I said, okay, maybe that'll be a part of my book. I said it on live. I have this old Periscope live I recorded, and I said, I have a book, and it's gonna be called Ballin' on a Budget. And lo and behold, 6 months later, the workbook came published. I had over 1,000 pre-orders. The book was #1 on Amazon bestsellers list. To this date, the book has been out for 5 years now, and to this date, I have sold like over maybe 20,000 copies of this book. Not only like online, but just organizations when they're booking me for speaking engagements, they'll purchase anywhere from 1 to 500 books at a time for their audience. So I've been very, very blessed. I do have a copy of it. I'm going to show it online. So this is what it looks like. Oh, I have to get it in frame. It's available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. So it's just, as I mentioned, a workbook that walks you through those simple steps that it takes to start a budget and get financially savvy. I always believe in starting your budget out on paper. So writing it down, affirming, right? Manifesting what you want, and then transitioning it to an electronic version.
Wow. I love that. I love it. That's amazing. And also, you also have, not only do you have your workbook, but you also have a regular book. Can you tell us about the startup book for entrepreneurs?
Yeah. So, gosh, what is so crazy is the work. I published the workbook, and literally 1 month after I published the workbook, I have 2 ladies who have been mentors to me during that year of branding myself. And we all used to get together and do a live together. It was called You Have a Business, Now What? And then we were like, okay, well, how can we monetize this? Because I'm always talking about monetize. And Kiara, I know you've heard that word from me a few times because I'm always asking you that same question. And we were discussing like creating a conference, and let's do this and let's do that. And I was like, well, hold on. Well, if we have a conference, what are we going to sell them? Are we going to sell them one-on-one sessions? Are we going to sell what is it that they would take away? And a book is something that every entrepreneur should have, every influencer, anybody who's looking to brand themselves, even if it's an ebook, something that people can walk away with, a shirt. And so all of us got together, we wrote multiple chapters to co-author a book. It's called Upfront: An Entrepreneur's Quick Start Guide. So you can see that here. This is what the book looks like, co-authored by one of my very good friends, Dr. Teray Holmes and Carla Jones. What is so crazy about this book? So Teray and I met in January of 2016. She was in Houston visiting a friend. I met her online, so I never knew her in person before this. And she said, I know you're in Dallas. And she said, I'm going to be in Houston. Let's meet up. Because we had been doing all these lives together for months, and I never met her face to face. And I drove to Houston, and we had dinner, and we had a 5-hour conversation on business, on expanding our business, expanding the things that we were doing. And I look at her like my big sister because I'm the oldest of 4 children, and I never had well, I don't have an older sister, but I look at her like my big sister, and I always tell her that like, you're like my big sister. Like, I didn't have anyone to like lean on or growing up, but now like in my 30s, like I have someone I can look forward to for information, not only for personal information, but for business advice. And the other lady who co-authored the book with us, Carla Jones, she lives in Atlanta. It's been 5 years. I've never met Carla. That is so crazy. We've never met. We've always collaborated online. To this day, we still collaborate online for webinars, on Clubhouse, and we have never met face to face. We've been on Zoom. We've been on probably every digital platform, Periscope. Gosh, some of those platforms went away. I know Periscope just went away, but there was another one that we used to get on all the time, and it went away. But what I'm trying to say here is the power of relationships is real. The power of social media is real. And so, but this book is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble as well. 5 chapters to help you in your business, focusing on marketing, business credit, business strategy. So look at it like a pocketbook guide.
Yes, I'm definitely ordering mine. And today, for those ladies who are online, Angel has a special code for you guys to get a discount on her Balling on a Budget workbook and her Upfront Startup for Entrepreneurs book that you can read to help you get started in your business.
I do. So on my website, which is angelradcliffe.com, so it's just my name.com, or you can go to missrmba.com, MISSRMBA.com. So there's a shop on my website. There's books. There are masks. I do have masks that say Balling on a Budget. There's t-shirts that say Balling on the Budget. And for everyone who's listening or coming on to watch the replay, if you use the code PRETTY, you'll get 30% off plus free shipping. And that code will be valid until the end of April. So April is Financial Literacy Month. So this is like a very good predecessor to all of the conversations that are coming up across different social media platforms on financial literacy.
Absolutely. And Angel, I have one more question before we leave. You are a successful businesswoman. You have a career. What do you do for yourself? When do you have time for you and self-care? When? And when you do, what do you do for yourself?
So many people ask me this question. They're like, how do you have time to do anything else? And it's time management. 2, you have to hire people. You have to outsource some of that work. You cannot do everything on your own. And so that's why it's so important to look at the things you're doing, monetize the things that you're doing so that you can afford to hire a virtual assistant. Some of the things that are so minimal, like administrative things. I can tell I do not like doing anything administrative, like checking emails, sending follow-ups from the podcast. And sometimes I have to do it because if no one's available, if I only hire someone for a certain number of hours and there's still work to be done, I have to do it. But I try to prioritize certain things, whereas on Mondays, I don't touch anything in my business. That is something that's a rule I put in place 2 years ago because my life was getting so busy. And I said, I have to have a dedicated day where I'm not taking calls for one-on-ones. I won't be looking at email. I won't be like on the website. And I really had to take a step back from so much time on social media because there was a point where I was live streaming every single day, and it can be really time consuming. And it's when you're building up your audience, it is definitely something that you have to do. But I also had to look at other opportunities it was for me to do other things for my business, such as speaking engagements or hosting workshops, or maybe I have to build out content. And so finding the areas that I wanted to focus on. So no more Mondays. That is one thing I did. For self-care, I love a good spa day. I love a good vacation. So those are 2 things I haven't been able to do with COVID in place. I haven't been to a spa since before COVID, and I haven't had a good vacation. So anyone who follows me on Facebook knows I love to travel. I was probably like on a plane every month for the last few years and always going to some other country. And so hopefully I'll be doing that again soon. So at home, I definitely try to instill some of that self-care, having all of my personal items, such as like the bath salts, the body scrubs, the body wash. And I'm not talking like Bath and Body Works. Like I have to indulge in like very good personal products, skincare products, like the Ahava, the Molten Brown, the L'Occitane, to build my own spa at home since I've been unable to do that. So yeah, so those are things that get me excited. And I mentioned to you last night, I ordered a sauna blanket, but I have to get that self-care in somehow. But yeah, travel and self-care all the way.
Absolutely. So we want to thank you so much for your time today, for taking the time to speak with us about financial education. And you gave a couple business strategy tips, and I'm going to post those after. And if anybody wants to get in contact with you, what social media can they find you on?
Sure, they can find me here on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. My username is the same across all social media. It's Miss RMBA, MISSRMBA. So they can follow the Facebook page by going to facebook.com/Miss RMBA, and of course that handle on Instagram and Twitter. I'm probably the most active on Twitter within my stories than any other platform at the moment.
Awesome. And I just want to let you know that I watched you did a Zoom presentation the other day on investment. And I know that you know about investments and stocks. I watched your presentation and I took notes. So you're well diverse in finance. And I love it. That is so awesome. And thank you so much for taking the time to share your story and your testimony.
No
Anything
problem.
else you want to leave with the ladies just to empower them?
I would say anyone who's watching and you're trying to get a hold of your finances, everyone has been there. No one has started out perfect understanding finances. I definitely think it's a topic that should be started in the school system, but until it started there, it should start at home. So if you're a parent, think about mastering finances for yourself so that you can teach your children. Because I always tell people, when the household that I grew up in, my mom didn't have a credit card. My mom didn't have a credit card until she was 50 and I was grown. So growing up, she couldn't tell me how to manage a credit card, the things I needed to do. So think about the things that you don't know. And even if you don't have children, those are things you still need to know to survive. Those are things you still need to know to make good financial decisions, to make good investing decisions, to make sure you're putting the right amount of money towards your 401k. Ask questions. No question is a stupid question. Ask people on social media who definitely understand the topic. You probably don't want to ask or get advice from someone who doesn't have a budget or been able to save money, because how can they guide you in the right direction if they're not doing it for themselves? And if you are wanting to get started, write your plan down. Pick up a copy of the workbook. It definitely will help you create the plan and start today, just with whatever little money you have to put aside. And I always say, once you deposit that money into savings, don't withdraw it. You have to be disciplined. Don't keep it in the same bank where your checking account is so you can keep swapping money back and forth. Make sure that you are checking your account before you swipe your card. If you're one of those people who are sort of living check to check or almost check to check, make sure you're not going over your budget. Monitor those things, put reminders in your phone, whatever you have to do to keep yourself accountable.
Yes, I love it. Like she said, just start, and it only takes $1. Just start with the dollar. All right, y'all have a good Saturday. Bye.
Bye.